actually pledged to raise £5,000 for the credit union. And we also take zakat too to cover back bad debt.
So I think it's really important this Ramadan for our listeners and for our members to remember, to support these growing causes. We hope that YOURB Credit Union can become a social movement. Credit unions have been, around for many years, for decades, hundreds of years actually in Ireland, where we have the highest percentage of credit union membership in the world. So it's really strange that it isn't here in the UK and we're only just starting up. So we need to stay here for another 100 years. That's why we need your support, listeners. Join YOURB, and actually we accept donations as zakat from non-members. So even you don't have to be a member to donate to YOURB Credit Union. So please keep those funds coming in this Ramadan. Diversify the way you're getting your sadaqah jariyah. We're also appealing for volunteers, aren't we, Marzita? So, for example, what kind of skills are we looking for that we can offer, and do we give some training as well, and how do we work remotely?
Yes, as we were starting up our credit union, we actually got regulated the month that we all went into lockdown. So we have had to work virtually as a credit union. And alhamdulillah, we've managed to maintain that. In fact, we are all working remotely and virtually. So we need people to give us time and skills so that we can help you. Well, when you help YOURB, your time and skills spent within the credit union can also help you with CV, management, marketing, and networking. And in return, we offer you experience of working in a financial cooperative, how we run the credit union, how we manage our members, and how we run meetings and events. Yeah. So if you feel that you can volunteer your time and skill, you can contact us via our contact form on our website. And Muna will tell you how it can be done.
Yes, absolutely. Actually, I was going to go to Jamie for that. So Jamie, in terms of Friends of YOURB and YOURB Credit Union, what's the difference between them, and how can we get volunteers to join and help in this effort?
Yeah, so obviously as a regulated credit union, it can't necessarily raise funds for ourselves, not being a charity or a regulated organization. So we do have the Friends of YOURB arm, which is more of the fundraising side. So that would allow people to volunteer their time, talent, or treasure should they see anything that they could do with us. And in terms of skills development and things like that Marzita was referring to, yeah, there's lots of opportunity to learn about how a credit union is run. So you'll obviously gain organization skills, project management skills, time management skills. So it's a really great opportunity for younger people to kind of bolster their CVs with some really good training and skills development.
Thank you, Jamie. So, Marzita, the question is, how can people join YOURB Credit Union? Because we are based in Manchester. I always get asked this question.
So the two types of credit union. One is a credit union that's based geographically, and YOURB. So we are based on organizations. So under credit union rules, we have a list of organizations that have become our common bond partners. So these are organizations that include places of worship, youth groups, supplementary schools, and we have a small number of members that are also outside of Manchester. So technically, you could be outside of Manchester too if you could if you're under these organizations. So you can still become a member of YOURB even if you're not in Manchester.
So that's right. And I think the places of worship is the one that's really proved to be the big one for us. So UK Islamic Mission mosques are all over the country. So we have people who've joined us through those mosques in Birmingham, in London, and further afield. We've also listed a number of places of worship that are near to us here in the Northwest. So if you attend any of these places of worship here in the Northwest, and you'll see them on our website, then you can join YOURB directly. So you'll find more information about our common bond, which is how our organizations relate to each other. You'll find that on our website, www.yourb.org.uk. So how do you spell YOURB? YOURB. That's YOURB. So yourb.org.uk, and we have a contact form there. We have a donation form, and you can get in touch with us and ask any questions via our website. So if your organization isn't listed on YOURB website, then can new organizations join? And we are looking for new organizations, Marzita.
That's right. We want to appeal to local businesses, schools, masajids. If they are not on our common bond, they can contact us and we will let them know how they can join YOURB as a common bond partner. But Muna, we haven't actually told the listeners how the name YOURB came about.
That's true. That's true. I was thinking that as well. So you kind of like when you know, you know. When you don't know, you continue to wonder. So YOURB is a play on the Arabic word yurbi, and it comes from the ayah in the Quran. Subhanallah. يمحق الله الربا ويربي الصدقات, which means that Allah devalues riba, interest, and He increases the barakah in your sadaqah. And so we wanted to have this barakah in YOURB Credit Union, and that's why we called it YOURB. يمحق الله الربا ويربي الصدقات. And inshallah, YOURB Credit Union will be one of those YOURB organizations that will continue for decades. Inshallah. That's what we hope, and that's why we need your help.
Inshallah. I mean,
inshallah. So because of our emphasis on education, we're really keen on schools, the supplementary schools, the madrasas, because we want to get to families who have young children who are learning to start to save earlier. So that's those are kind of organizations we're looking for. So new masajid, new businesses who have employees who want to join YOURB, then please join your business or your organization to YOURB, and then automatically your volunteers, your staff, your members can join the credit union as well. So send us a message on our website, and we will definitely get back to you about how you can join YOURB. So there are other questions that we get asked, Marzita. So we did have a focus on savings for the beginning of this webinar, but now I want to ask about borrowing. We get asked, I'm going to university this September, so what can I do to get a YOURB loan? So are we able to help people just this September? How many people are we able to help, Marzita?
Alhamdulillah, through our member shares, we have managed to pull together enough savings this year, enough funds this year to be able to offer 5 loans to 5 students, inshallah.
Inshallah. And that is so 5 loans to 5 students. Of course, these are bridging loans. The cost of a university education, is £30,000. So it's very difficult for even a small organization or for an individual or a family to be able to afford that. So we're able to afford to offer these loans to people who only need a small amount. They only need £5,000 to get them through this coming year. And they're able to repay that within the 5-year period or immediately within 1 year. So if they repay it this year, it means that next year they'll be able to borrow again. But we've also been able to help some final year students and some first year students. We actually reply to all our applicants, anyone who gets in touch with us. we give them an answer, we offer them support and help. Even if we can't help them with a loan, we definitely offer them advice of how to budget and sources of help, where they can maybe seek out a scholarship or a bursary, where they can find interest-free loans. And we refer them to some of our partners, National Zakat Foundation, Ansar Finance, who are hosting us. So we will be able to tell you a little bit more about how we help people who can't actually borrow from YOURB, but we can still help them. So there are some testimonials that we have got from some people that we have helped. And we have Sarah. I hope, Sarah, if you could read out some of those testimonials and maybe comment on them from the young person perspective. Over to you, Sarah.
I came across YOURB absolutely randomly, as someone had recommended it in an ISOP group chat, which I rarely ever check, but Allah decreed that I would see this message. YOURB helped me out where I needed it most. They are hard workers who are dedicated to ensuring our future generations are abiding by the Sharia law. With permission of Allah, the members at YOURB enabled me to achieve the goal I badly needed to reach. Dr. Muna and Noon Mustafa and many others managed my loan application, and despite every hurdle, they were willing to make it work. Their commitment to halal student loan for my final year at university helped me lift a huge burden, and it was an immense relief, as it meant that I was able to receive a halal student loan for my final year at university. It meant I wouldn't have to take a year out to work and come back and finish my degree. YOURB as an organization is proof of the fact that if you stick by your morals unwavering, you can achieve great things. Organizations like these are beacons of hope, and in the bleak, un-Islamic societies we live in, YOURB's existence is proof that the Iman is strong within the community, and I am sure they will achieve amazing things with the permission of Allah. Many Muslims are in dire need for halal alternatives and have seemingly lost hope. However, with hardship comes ease, and Alhamdulillah, YOURB has made halal student finance a reality. Muslims who engage with YOURB and are willing to embark on this path despite any hardship they encounter will receive the fruits of their labor, inshallah. I very much appreciate the support and help YOURB has provided. They are an extremely important part of the community and have made the path to halal student finance a lot easier. YOURB means a great deal to me. Thank you so much, YOURB. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakumullah khair, Sarah, for reading out the testimonial from one of our members. So would you want to comment, Sarah?
This just goes to show how helpful YOURB is to our Muslim brothers and sisters, and especially since the cost of living for young people in uni is very expensive, as people do like to eat out and buy clothes, and also not to mention like the tuition fees are also expensive, 9k a year. It helps the people to not have to pay back loans, which I think is really important. I mean,
Thank you, Sarah. Definitely. So, you know, the problem with loans that have interest is that they keep growing. And we always advise people that if you are in debt with very high interest somewhere, maybe some credit card loans, or maybe you've borrowed, for example, student finance, if you can find an interest-free variant for that, so you can swap, I think that means that you will be able to afford to repay that loan faster. We've had people who've been able to swap their loans and continue with the interest-free loans, and Ansar Finance have been doing that for 25 years. Marzita, tell our listeners how we've been inspired by Ansar and hosted by Ansar.
Well, Ansar Finance, who are based in Manchester, have been around for over 25 years, offering small loans to the community. They, I think about 5 years ago, became a charity, full charity, which means that they, which means that people that don't, they used to be trustees, and now people donate into Ansar, and they are still able to give out those same loans to the community. Alhamdulillah, we are being supported by Ansar in that we are actually based in their premises, and they have pledged to support YOURB for the next 5 years. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. So Ansar have inspired us. They've supported us when YOURB was just an idea, and now we are a reality and we are hosted with them. The moral of this is that you can keep going and that you can do good, and you can swap out some the interest burden on some of your debts to convert them into an interest-free loan from family, from friends, from organizations like Ansar Finance. And in that way, you will have an affordable loan that you can repay within a shorter time scale. And it means that you are getting out of debt interest-free as well. So I think we have got another testimonial, have we?
Yes.
Oh.
I'll try and play it.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Safi Fishlock.
Would you mind increasing that volume a little bit, because we can't hear that, Marcita?
I'm trying. Let's just try that again.
I think it's because you're on call.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Safi Fishlock, and I am currently in my first year at the University of Edinburgh. YOURB is the product of the hard work and dedication my parents and friends have put in to achieve the first Sharia-compliant credit union, to which I have been very grateful to benefit from. YOURB has allowed me to complete my first year of university without having to take student loans for tuition or living costs, therefore allowing me to undertake my higher education in the most halal way possible. Alhamdulillah. My experience of YOURB has been very easy and seamless, thanks to the effort of the volunteer team. Most importantly, my experience with YOURB has allowed me to achieve my dreams in pursuing a degree in biology. I believe YOURB is vital for young Muslims to succeed in their chosen career paths while maintaining their life as Allah wills, inshallah.
Inshallah. So that's a beautiful, really beautiful to hear from our young people as they're starting off, and to look at the way that they are really valuing a product like YOURB, which is interest-free savings and interest-free loans. So I think it's really wonderful the way that young people are inspirational themselves. I've come across many young people who really are knocking hard on the doors, wanting to make sure that they are getting out of debt or getting an education without touching interest. Some people can do that and others can't. I think the main thing to do, because we can't help everyone, is that you have to do your bit. You have to really seek out help, support, advice. And then if ultimately you need to take the student loan, then you need to take the student loan. That is because education is very important to get all our community right in the forefront of building and making and creating a better future for each other. So I'll just want to now just have a little bit of a conversation with Jamie and with Yasir, who's also on the line, just to think about how can we give options to our young people. We've heard some of the testimonials, but we also know the hardship that young people face. So I'll start with Jamie. What are the kind of options that young people do have these days, considering the cost of living, the cost of education? We want them to have a bright future. Jamie?
So at present, obviously, they can still, if they're looking to go to university, they can still get student finance, which might not be an option for many of our Muslim brothers and sisters because of riba that's associated with taking on a loan of such nature. So in that case, saving with YOURB, for example, you could certainly make contributions and take loans eventually that would help you. Like you mentioned earlier, the bridging kind of loan in that aspect. So that is one of the options there mainly that I can see for young people.
Yes, absolutely. And I want to bring Yasir in as well. So the fact is many families are taking that the interest-bearing student finance UK. But for families who needed to do that and had no other way than to do that, then what they can do is that they can start to fight riba with their tongue rather than with their deed and with their heart. So we have lots of people who are helping YOURB despite having taken student finance themselves, but they want to make sure that nobody else has to do it, that there is another option for them in future. So I think that every little helps, but also even if you are taking an interest-bearing loan, then make sure that you're giving the option of interest-free to other people so that we are building the future. Right now, very few people we can help, but in future, many more we can help. So I want to hear from Yasir now about the Student Finance UK and alternative to Takaful fund that the government had promised us. That was going to be an option that the government was going to give. Yasir?
Yes, Assalamu alaikum. Yes, it's an option that the government can give, by my understanding that is still hasn't been approved. So still we're lobbying and we're putting our voice together with everyone to push the government to actually approve that. At the meantime, actually UK finance, for someone, for example, students looking for loans without getting into it, there is scholarships that sometimes come to the universities they're studying in. But for you to get this, at least you register with the website for UK Finance, and you can get emails and show you what scholarships that come over. So there is help and support that can be provided. So that's one of the ways that people can look for support in that sense, look for these sort of things.
Yes, absolutely. That's a really good point that you raise, because if someone isn't going to be taking a loan from Student Finance UK, it is still worth, that's what we advise them, register with Student Finance UK so that you can get that information. And also many universities give bursaries to people on the provision that they are registered and have an account with Student Finance. So register with Student Finance UK, but don't take the loan. I think that's the best advice that we are giving at the moment. And Yasir, you did mention the alternative to Takaful finance that the government promised. They've been promising this for 9 years now. Some people waited. They didn't go to university expecting the Takaful version will come, and they've been waiting and they've been waiting. And actually that has disrupted their learning journey and has disrupted their career. So we say to people now, don't wait. You do need to go on an education, but there are other options that you can look for. So the big option that now is open, there are apprenticeships. There are entry-level apprenticeships. There are degree apprenticeships. There are postgraduate, master's level apprenticeships. So do you know a lot about these apprenticeships, Yasir?
Yes, sure, Mona. Because what's been happening because of the cost of education itself is going high. So people are looking for ways to do that. And apprenticeships is more of it's an education plus employment at the same time. So what it does is that you apply for an apprenticeship where part of you do still study in a university, but this is actually sponsored by an employer. So you get employed. So you're studying and working at the same time, which is a good way of supporting financially your education, rather than to go head on for the university and try to get loans and things like that. So definitely apprenticeship is gaining actually a lot of traction and momentum in the recent years, basically mainly because of the cost of the education is going very high. So yeah, it's a very good way of doing so. Also, I can add to that, part of what happened during the COVID, people discovered that the government provided sponsored, you can say, like boot camps, training. That is mainly, for example, in digital space, in IT, where people can do boot camps for 3 months or 6 months, and actually they get the skill in IT. And a lot of employers are actually looking for these. You want anyone who's got a background or who's got interest in IT, which they can actually go forward, do these boot camps, and they can take them on. So that's another way for someone who wants to look for a career in IT, for example.
So yes, definitely you can upskill and you can, get training for free. And then sometimes that training for free will then mean that you don't need to do the first year of university, for example. That's another way as well. And you've given the example of IT training. I just wanted to ask Sarah, and then I want to go back to Jamie. So Sarah, did you hear about apprenticeships before you're in your first year college?
Not really, but my mum told me about it a few weeks ago, and she said it's much better than going to university, because you don't have to pay 9k a year, and said you also learn but also earn a salary at the same time.
Absolutely. The reason I asked you is because it's another best kept secret. But I'm sure that colleges, careers advisors do know about these apprenticeships. So if you heard about them for the first time, just then ask your college advisors and university as well. They will be able to advise you. So Jamie, do you know, have you got any examples of apprenticeships and how they may be useful for our listeners?
I'm not sure. Maybe Marzita might have one. I'm not sure.
Ah, right. Yes. No, Marzita, let's hear it from you.
So at the school where I'm a governor, we sponsored a teaching assistant to be trained as an apprentice teacher. So we kept her in the employment, and then she went to university to study the degree in teaching. And I think she did it in about a year or less than a year. She got her degree. So she was able to keep her employment and gain the degree, and now works as a full-time teacher in our school.
So yes, that is absolutely, the way an apprenticeship works. And some students think that by doing an apprenticeship, they're not actually going to university. The reality is you are going to university. You're still getting the same experience at university and the support of your peer group. You don't have to pay fees, and you have a job with a salary. What's not to like? That's absolutely the best kept secret for young people. Look for apprenticeships. Ask your college tutors. Also, you can sign up to your local council where they have a weekly jobs and skills offer where they let you know about any apprenticeships that are coming up. You can go onto the government website for apprenticeships. So just search apprenticeships.gov.uk and you will definitely come across a number of apprenticeships that you can take on. The good thing about apprenticeships is they're not just for university. There are some entry-level apprenticeships, level 2, level 3. So an apprenticeship for a university is called level 6, and a master's level apprenticeship is called level 7. And it's great for people to want to train as teachers, nurses, accountants, IT, marketing, digital. There are loads of apprenticeships available. So have a look at that. That is one of the ways in which we really help young people look at their options.
Also, Muna, don't forget, as employers, certainly for our school, we managed to tap into funds, an apprenticeship fund that we actually gave the council and then took back because we were training these people. So we've also actually created another IT apprentice. We've taken on an IT apprentice to do his IT degree in our school.
And so these apprentices can be employed by schools, they can be employed by small businesses, they can be employed by charities. So they are paid staff, and the organization does continue to pay the salary, but the education costs are paid for by the government through what's called an apprenticeship levy. And if you are too small to have an apprenticeship levy yourself, then you can access one from one of the large organizations near you. Mostly the council is offering this kind of tuition for free. So this is a really great opportunity if you haven't looked at apprenticeships before. Jamie, I want to come back to you because you mentioned loan sharks earlier, and we want to also advise our listeners to beware from illegal lending.
Yeah, that's right. I think you kind of alluded to the exponential interest rates on some of those loans from loan sharks. That is usually in the very, very small print, and people don't actually see that too clearly. So people don't realize the kind of decisions they're making when they're taking what looks like a good opportunity for them, and it obviously is too good to be true. But the loan sharks are out there. They are a big issue in the financial sector. So yeah, certainly we have to be aware of that, and certainly watch out for any small print that you get into with financial products.
So it's really important for people to actually be aware of what a loan shark is. A loan shark is someone who appears innocuous. They're people in our community and they're offering you loans, but in return for the loan, they're either getting back interest or they're getting back favors, and you never get out of that loan. So that's if you find yourself in difficulty like that, get in touch with Loan Sharks UK, and they will help you stop loan sharks, and you can report them anonymously. So we'll make sure that if Marzit, if we can find that number for reporting a loan shark, we'll make sure that we read that out to our members. Then I think we can do that. It's really, really important for our listeners to note. So I think we're just going through our final thoughts for the moment. So I'll just go around and thank our colleagues. So Yasir, thank you very much for dialing in today. So what are your final thoughts?
YOURB is still at its infancy. We are 3 years on, but still there is a lot of work to do, and now we're looking for the support. As the friends of YOURB, we're looking for volunteers. We're looking for people to donate, to support, or at the end of the sadaqah, inshallah, they got ajr for it, to help YOURB to grow. So, and we really need the support of volunteers, people who can put in some of their time and effort and skill to help, whether to mentor people or even to support the activities of YOURB, inshallah.
And Jamie, any final thoughts from you?
Yeah, sure. I think it's an appeal to organizations, really, to become a common bond partner. That, you know, the actual benefits of that in terms of value, you're giving access for families who use your organization or your business or facility to get access to this community cash pool when needed, and obviously they're going to contribute to it to kind of benefit the community, the wider community. So yeah, it's just an appeal to organizations, really, to do it's like almost kind of a social responsibility approach to giving other people access to that opportunity.
Thank you, Jamie. And Marzita, any final thoughts?
Really, because you've only heard about YOURB Credit Union today, you might not know that there is already credit unions near you. So to start saving, you could join your local credit union, if not join YOURB, so that you can start to save. And when you do, be careful that you are not going into the areas of loan sharks. And again, just the Stop Loan Sharks helpline is 0300 555 2222, and we can actually put that on our website too. Yeah.
Thank you, Marzita. So do find out more about YOURB by visiting our website, www.yourb.org.uk. Remember the spelling, YOURB. Don't forget the name, YOURB. That's where it's coming from. So we do have a contact form, and we're very quick at responding by email. We have further information on our website, lots of forms, lots of really good frequently asked questions, and we're happy to hear from you. We've been delighted to be hosted today at Radio Ramadan Milton Keynes. We wish you well this Ramadan. May Allah accept all your good deeds. And inshallah, may Allah accept your fasting. And we're heading into Azan time shortly. So I'm hoping that Ruxana and colleagues in the studio will be able to take it from us from here. Jazakum Allah khair. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I think that there was a question that Roxana posted through, Muna. How much do I have to save to take out a student loan? And what is the maximum loan I can take per year, please? And when I take the loan, do I have to pay an admin fee?
Okay, these are all very good questions. I'm not sure if we're still on air, so we'll keep carrying on until friends in the studio will let us know. So you can start to save as much as you can save, as little as £10 a month, but you can also save or put in lump sum savings into YOURB up to a maximum of £15,000. That's the maximum that any member can have in a credit union. And if you are saving regularly £125 a month or £250 a month, that means that you are saving at the level by which you can afford to pay the university fees and borrow from YOURB by keeping on repaying the loan at that same level. So credit union loans have to be repaid in full over 5 years. And so if you're able to have that level of income during your studies, either your parents are helping you borrow, or your spouse or partner or friends or family are helping you to cover the cost of the education, we also ask that you have a guarantor, because we know that with bereavement or loss of a job or sudden circumstances, many people may find that they cannot continue to repay their loan. But you know, with YOURB, it's somebody else's money, so we need to get it back. So we ask every borrower to have a guarantor, that if they can't repay 1 month, that their guarantor steps in and helps them to cover that shortfall. So that's the way we are managing our student loans. The maximum we can give to any one student is up to £5,000. And students don't have to be at university. You could be doing a postgraduate degree, or you're studying a short course, continuing professional development. So while we've spoken quite a lot about university degrees, YOURB loans can be given for any educational requirement, any educational cost, inshallah.
Inshallah, that's right. I hope that answers your questions, Shahnaz. And in fact, if you don't want to join YOURB, or you're too far away, we would still be looking for guarantors or sponsors to sponsor students. So it costs us about 5,500 per loan, obviously. And if that is being sponsored, that can be considered as a secure loan. And that because we are required under UK credit union rules to have enough liquidity to be able to loan out these loans. So that's one of the ways that you could help us too.
That is great. And I think, Marzita, there you've ended it on a high, because what better sadaqah jariyah than to have £5,500 in a credit union that is being loaned out again and again and again. Inshallah, that is the really, Allah chooses those sadaqat that He will multiply. And inshallah, yours as a listener, your sadaqah will be one of them, inshallah. Okay, Jazakumullah khair, everyone. Iftar Kareem, inshallah. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So we will dial out now. Assalamu rahmatullah.